When life is understood as a flow of relationships, a flow of gifts, a flow of nutrients, minerals, microbes, intentions, energies and waters, living can be honoured in its fullness. Okay, today we're going to go through the very simple charcoal filter system for our grey water. All of the house water comes out from the kitchen, the laundry and the bathroom through piping under the house and drops into this little wine barrow with a inset tub, 20 litre tub, and it's got a little whatever they're called. What is it called? What are they called back in Austria? Yeah. Plumbing terms. So we're going to dig all this out. We do this about once every 3 months. Zero is wondering whether there's any mice down there. Now we got to some of the real fatty areas, and we can see there's tiger worms. You can see we've got tiger worms work really well in this system, and they eat a lot of the fats.
Dad, do you have to put tiger worms in every time you change the cycle? We just leave, yeah, you can either do that or just leave a little bit of a starter. So that's a really good question, Ruth. So
is that an open bottom?
No, but there's some. That's a good example of the worms.
Yeah, nice.
It's not an open bottom, but we've got holes drilled in order to come out, so it's a closed bottom. We'll show you the holes in a minute. Watch out, there's me.
Have you ever seen any mice down there?
No, but I think he's thinking there might be.
It's quite amazing there's worms in there.
It is.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they're just living on the fats and the charcoal. So the charcoal is obviously a nice neutral medium for them. Yeah, there's no earthworms that make their way there. These are put in from the compost worms, the tiger worms. This is all up about a 20-minute job every three months or so.
And also water's your garden at the same time.
Yeah, well that's right. The water that filters through here is pretty gorgeous, and it goes into these crests over here, which is a filtration system. It's an American crest, and then into the swale. And there's a whole lot of indigenous reeds that are growing in the swale, and then comfrey and things like that. Admittedly, we don't shower, so we don't have, or bath, so we don't have, yeah, we go to the lake, so we don't have soaps and body fats from the shower coming in here. So really, it's the washing machine and the, 2 or 3 loads of dishes a day by having a productive household. So lots of making, so therefore lots of pots to clean out and various things. Sarah, how about it there? So this stage here I should be able to get this out now. This just sits here. And this is, you can see this has got a bit clogged up. And so we're getting that feedback of smell in the kitchen, just mildly coming up through the sink. So that's the time to clean that out. Oh no, that sludge should have gone into the wheelbarrow. Now I've got to dig it all out again. And some of that greasy sludge is going to end up in the swale. It's just amazing how much fat. I mean, and Zero is a big part of this system because he licks many of the bowls and plates and takes the grease into his biome and then processes that. So, yeah, so he's the kind of the rinser.
First filter.
First filter. And that works well in this system. People have much more elaborate, high-tech grey water systems, but this works really well for us. I don't think we've changed this since you've been here, have we? So this is probably 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah. So I came in December and I haven't seen it done.
Yeah. So this could be 6 months work. So, and normally I do it every 3. So that's actually another reason why it's backed up a bit. But it's a pretty forgiving system. So just a simple rinse off, and I'm just going to rinse this through. So this wine barrel has been doing this job here for a number of years. And before that it was, it had soil in it with plants. So it lasts really well. And you can see down here that there's, you can see the holes down here. I've just drilled 3 inch and a half holes, and that's basically all that it drains out of there, just drip feeds. That's it. So the important part is there's biology in here, in the critters, particularly the tiger worms, that's taking it away. But mainly the water comes out and is filtered by that biology there. So that's like a filter stream, flora filter. And so that works really well. Now with some sifted, so whatever you do, don't put in just your ash from the fire. It has to be sifted, so you need to take the potash out, so you get just the charcoal. This is just charcoal, no ash, because the ash will clog the whole system up. You can check out our video on separating the potash from the char and what we do with both these things. And then put in some bags. Has been excellently sifted by Andy. Thanks, Andy. Because that, basically, this contraption sits in there. I need to clean this out and take that down. So I'm going to take that down with this. To the chooks and bury it in their deep litter. Which is another biological system. Okay. Now I might have put too much in here already. This just goes down like this. So there's actually 2 pipes in there. There's this big one that you can see easily, and then there's one back here that comes from the kitchen or the bathroom. I can't remember which is which. Still a little bit short on space. That's it. Okay, so that can go in there, and the water can go in there. So both of the pipes can lead into this little funnel. Actually, what I'm going to do is this still acts as a fat separator with this. I think that's what the decision I made last time, because the other thing just kept getting knocked off by the spade, the shovel. So, and then I'm just not going to fill it as much and come up to this level. So this is what should be seen at this point. Let's turn it down a bit. That's it. So there's your charcoal. Basically, a lot of the fat should stay in there, and we did get a lot of the fat in there. And then the water that comes up through, this is a second filtration system before it goes into there. And then the plant life is the third filtration system. So biology, biology, biology. That's the main point of this. If you just had grey water going into an open drain and there was just hard surfaces, no biology, no plant life, no roots, no soil, no worms, nothing, you get sick. It's the same with any kind of system. If it's just spilling out onto cobblestones and bitumen and stuff like in the city, that's where you get ill. But if it's going into a closed loop system, into a garden system, which is active and dynamic, then you really only need very, basic setup in order to recycle this water and put it back into your garden and not, usher it away to some other place. We want the water systems and everything, the nutrient systems, all to recycle here. So what I'm going to do is take that down to the chooks now. So here's the deep litter. You can see there's some seriously good stuff down here, and the chickens will be getting into that. All these little critters, but what's in here they're just going to love. And we wondered whether there'd be some adverse effects having the fatty sludge. But we've been doing this for a number of years now, and the chickens just absolutely eat all the worms, and they leave what they don't want, and they're absolutely fine. So, and once all the chickens are alerted, they'll be down here any minute. I'm just going to, mainly for the smell, just bury it really, and then it just becomes a part of the integrated soil building. But you can have a look at that soil that's building from all the deep littering. It's just really beautiful. And then every now and again we basically come in with some big sieves, and we shake, so all the big stuff falls out and we discard over somewhere else, and then we get all this fine beautiful soil that's being made here by just sifting it. what I think I'll do is I'll let the chooks come and eat all the little grubs. There's some slater bugs here. Loads of tiny little, not microscopic, but just sort of the next tier up from microscopic organisms. Yeah, loads of diversity in here. Incredible. So, so I might cover it up after they've had a bit of a go. Well, sometimes these things you can make as complex as you want. Sometimes something really simple works just as good. And it all depends on your relationship with it. So the more tech you are, the less relationship, the more low tech, the more relationship. I think that's the dominant paradigm, is really looking for less relationship and more tech. And I think that inherently sums up our culture. Kind of walk away systems that you don't have to think about, you don't have to interact with. Yep. Ah, thanks. Have you got a spoon there? So, just on a safety thing, it is actually an edible crest, but we don't eat it. So it's sort of like functioning as a buffer system. So, but everything down from there, well, the water then heads down along this swale, where the, as I said, the indigenous reeds and also the comfrey in the warmer months are, and that water then deeply. Yeah, just up there. Thanks, Woody. Yeah, the water just deeply penetrates along that, and then the roots of the veggies, the garlic here. We've got beetroot, we've got broad beans coming up, we've got some celery and some Swedes. So they're all coming up, but they're not directly interacting with that water. That water is going through another biological system.
We avoid any soaps and detergents that include salt or any sodium compounds for that matter, boron and chlorine bleach. We use soap nuts in the laundry and a swale safe or grey water safe detergent in the kitchen. Otherwise we just use handmade soaps. We hope you have found this video helpful, and it goes some way to helping you plan your own low-cost and low-tech grey water system.